right, everybody, back with a brand new Friday review here in the Cabral Concept. This is episode 3178. So if you want to head on over to stevencabral.com/3178, that is where all of the show notes will live, the three big takeaways, and of course, the links to the various research I'll be sharing here today. I've got a few special research studies for you on anti-anxiety, so anti-anxiolytics they're called, as well as something to de-stress your body. Super easy to use, both of them very, very inexpensive. I think you're going to want to check them out. The first one we're using at the Reimagine Health Summit for all of the speakers, because yes, speakers get stressed and nervous as well, especially when they're speaking in front of 300 to 400 or so people. So I want to share that with you here today. Before we get started, we always give you our recap for the week. So if you missed Monday's show, make sure you tune in. That was episode 3174. It is ancient knowledge on the ultimate purpose of we human beings. And I share with you essentially the 4 stages we can move through. Not dissimilar to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but different. One that's even a little bit more ancient and maybe even a little bit more simple. All right, the second one on Tuesday was, is oxidized fish oil really bad for you? You'll want to check out this show because so much of the time we get told, well, you don't want to take omega-3s because they're polyunsaturated fats. And polyunsaturated fats are then therefore bad. And if you take polyunsaturated fats, it's going to make you even unhealthier. Well, it's simply not the case. And I share with you a particular study where they said, you know what? Even though this isn't allowed to be really sold under the generally regarded as safe practices, we're going to test oxidized fish oil and see how it does. So I share the results on that on episode 3175. On Wednesday's show, talking about T1 and T2. So obviously 1 out of 5 women, 1 out of 10 men are affected by low thyroid in their lifetime. This is very important. Does it make a difference to look at 2 additional thyroid markers, T1 and T2, and could they be helpful? All right, so check that out. That was Wednesday's show. Yesterday's show was another popular topic that people wrote in on, and that is the difference between hydrogen tablets, hydrogen water bottles, and hydrogen water ionizers. What are the difference? Doesn't matter. Can you just use any one and still get the results? I actually break them down and share with you all the research. All right, let's dive in now to today's show. Typically, I'm taking you through the product review before the book review. You'll see why in a moment. We're going to do book review first this week. So this book, I don't know how I found out about this book. I really don't. A lot of times what I do is I'm reading 2 or 3 books a week. And so from those books, they often reference other books. And I say, oh, I really like this author. I trust this author. And let me check out what they're quoting as a book that they said was great. So I wish I could give you a recommendation as to where this came from, but this is an excellent book. It's thin. It's probably like, let's say 5x7 small paperback book. What is it? 250 pages. It is called The Book You Wish Your Parents Had Read, and your children will be glad that you did. So it's by Philippa Perry, who's a psychotherapist. And as I said before, never heard about this book, but it's been around for a long time with a lot of powerful reviews behind it. So I said, you know what? I'd love to be able to improve myself as a husband, father of my family, and obviously father of my 2 daughters. And so I read it, and I've said this before, but I didn't have kids until my, I guess, mid-30s. And I was happy, again, for me, like I'm happy that I waited for me, because certain people are good to have kids whenever, like they're just ready. And for me, I needed to do a lot of work on me before I had my kids. And I'm very happy that I did. I mean, that to me was kind of, you know, if I could think of like a couple of big decisions that I made in life, that one worked out for me. Now, it may not have, again, like it could have, what if there was difficulty having children or whatever it might be. It's just everybody has their own path. And so I was happy about that because I got to do a lot of work on myself. Not saying that I'm perfect by any way stretch or of the imagination. But what I want to share with you is that these concepts in the book are really powerful. It's not about blaming your parents. As my parents shared with me, and I've shared with my kids as well, it's just like, no parent is perfect. They're a human being. Like if you look back at the same age when your parents, had you or where they were at in life, it's like, we're all humans. We're all doing our best with what we know at the time, right? We can only be as good as what we know. But a book like this shares with you and it gets you to think deeper, is saying, okay, think about what you didn't love during your childhood. How would you do it differently? Because most likely, we just repeat the patterns of our parents. It's the wiring that we grew up with, both consciously and subconsciously, and most likely it's subconscious. So we start to do the things, act the way, and history begins to repeat itself. So if you don't want history to repeat itself, then you have to be more self-aware, something that I'm absolutely a big fan of and preach quite a bit on these on Mindset and Motivation Mondays. But the other thing is, and this was more new to me, it really was. Well, not like it really was new to me, and my wife taught me a lot about this when we had kids. It's to not suppress the feelings of your children. Not to say, oh, you're okay, shake it off, or whatever it is, or you shouldn't worry about that, that's no big deal. It's to actually validate their feelings. Let them know that they have been heard, what that those feelings may mean, to be able to approach you on any given subject, and to really encourage more exploration in life and also their feelings as well. So my wife, who studied psychology and knows this quite a bit, was able to share that with me because that was new to me. I am absolutely more of a just put your head down and just run through that wall. And that's not a healthy mindset to have on a daily basis, but also, with trying to teach your children. And so I have 2 daughters, and I can absolutely say, although that is not second nature to me, that's not instinct, that doesn't feel like the thing that I would typically go to first. Now I catch myself all the time saying, oh, that might be your initial reaction, but really what your daughter needs is she really just needs a hug. She needs to be heard. She needs to know that what she's saying matters, that you treat her on the same level that you're at. And so these things are, again, I just think unbelievably valuable as parents, but also even if you're never going to have kids or you had kids or you're about to, there are things in this book on the birthing-based process. Like it's pretty remarkable for 250 pages in a small book to fit everything in. So it's definitely a book that if you are trying to go all in on being a parent now or one day, or understand maybe where your parents were coming from, pretty good book to check out. Definitely recommend it. It's called The Book You Wish Your Parents Had Read, and Your Children Will Be Glad That You Did, by Philippa Perry. So nice. Whoever recommended it to me, I thank you. I appreciate you. And that one will be added to the archives. All right. Product review of the week with a little bit of research behind it as well. Many of you will be familiar with this product. What you may not know, though, are all the amazing uses for it, as well as some of the actual scientific data and how it works behind it. So during the Reimagined Health Summit, which is happening next week, we have about 300 and let's say 50 attendees or so. And some are health practitioners, many are exhibitors, all sorts of different people. And then we have about 16 different speakers, experts in the field. But I will tell you, as someone who meets and greets every speaker in the green room, in the back, kind of, warms them up, tries to break the ice, make them feel great. Because again, you wouldn't believe it, but I would say that 9 out of 10 of the speakers will be nervous. They may have given dozens to maybe hundreds of talks. But what happens is right before you're about to go out, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, before you know that they're going to call your name, you start to still build up those butterflies. You still build up those nerves. And it's not until you get on stage and you find your footing and you find the words that you're looking for that you settle in. But one of the things that has been clinically proven to decrease stress and improve just anytime you have a meeting or anything like that, believe it or not, is lavender. You can use lavender essential oil, but what we use in the green room to spray it so it smells like that right away when you come in. And if you want to put a couple sprays right on your clothes, you can do so. And so I searched the internet for the cleanest lavender spray I could find. All lavender sprays are pretty inexpensive. This is like $6. This brand, though, is called Nature's Truth Rejuvenating Lavender. Now, you can make your own. There's no doubt about it. We make our own cleaning spray at home and we put some lavender in and it's great. But I'm talking about like you can just spray this on clothing, or I'll share another tip in just a moment. And this is what we have in our green room next week. So I just want to share with you the simple ingredients because it's like 2 ingredients: water, lavender oil, and coconut oil. That's it. So the coconut oil, all of them have like a little bit of a thickener, and that's what the coconut oil is, but it's the last ingredient, small amount. And so what this allows you to do, spray this into the air, and it acts as an anti-anxiolytic. And I want to share with you the actual research on this. So lavender aromatherapy, it's called. And again, you can put it on your wrists. You can put a little bit behind your ear as an essential oil. No problem at all. Sometimes they have the roller balls, and you can just roll it on as well. But I like the spray. I think it's great. I think it's great to spray up in the air. And so several studies have shown that inhaling lavender essential oil, not into your mouth, by the way, you spray it in the air and you kind of walk into that, right? Can have a significant anti-anxiolytic, which is an anxiety reducing effect. One study found that lavender inhalation reduced anxiety levels in patients undergoing dental treatments, which is oftentimes where they test anxiety-based drugs, anti-anxiety-based drugs, or nutritional supplements, or binaural beats. That's actually one of the ways they found binaural beats were effective is with dental-based treatments, because many people hate going to the dentist. They obviously don't like having their teeth drilled, and that is a great place to test it. And so this was actually tested in one of those high anxiety situations at the dentist, and it worked. So here's how it works though. Many people, they've said, oh, I love lavender. It is calming, all of those things. Great. Let's actually talk about how it works. So lavender is believed to interact with the limbic system. So specifically the amygdala and the hippocampus inside of the brain, which are the regions involved with emotional-based regulation. So it ramps you up to produce stress hormones like adrenaline, norepinephrine, cortisol, or it can calm you down. And linalool is Linalool, which is the primary component of the lavender oils, essential oils, or lavender spray, can actually, as it's breathed in, inhaled, so even if you put some essential oil on your wrist, you want to inhale it through that olfactory nerve. And then what happens is it can bind to the GABA receptors. And GABA is so it's an inhibitory neurotransmitter, so anti-anxiety neurotransmitter. So this is really powerful. I mean, these are the things that they try to create drugs to do, right? Anti-anxiolytic drugs. So I definitely recommend it. An easy way to also test it out is you just keep it beside your bed. As you're about to get into bed, a couple sprays on your pillow if you'd like, or just on your sheets. And what it does is it elicits that calming effect. So that's on a daily basis, or at least a couple times a week. I don't put it right on my pillow, but I spray it right around the sheets. And so you get that lavender-based scent. And then I will have this, like I said, for all the speakers, and I'll be using it myself in that green room for the Reimagine Health Summit. So there you have it. Hopefully that is helpful. I'll link this one up, but it's just called Nature's Truth, Rejuvenating Lavender, only 3 ingredients, all natural. All right, the next one, I wanted to keep this stress-based. So the second research study for the day is one on reducing stress. Okay, the study is called L-Theanine Consumption Reduces Stress in a Double-Blind Placebo-Controlled Study. Now, I've talked about L-Theanine before. You can get it in certain types of tea, like green tea. And what it helps you to do is simply calm your stress levels. So again, most of us need that. I think it's fantastic. I've shared in the past as well, is that simply adding 100 milligrams to 200 milligrams as a capsule or a supplement or a powder to your coffee in the morning can actually help with that coffee-based or caffeine-based anxiety. Decaf, you're not going to need it. But if you're someone that gets a racing heart rate or anxiety or stress from drinking coffee, it may be something that you want to add with your coffee, or switch to green tea instead, or of course you can reduce to decaf, but any time of the day this product can be used. We've been using L-Theanine in our practice for about 15 years. We use it in combination with ashwagandha, phosphorylserine, L-Theanine, typically eleuthero, rhodiola, and they're great adrenal adaptogens. So in our practice, we have people use a product called Adrenal Soothe, 2 capsules when they need it for stress. Most people are always using 2 capsules at dinner, calms them down, allows them to get a great night's sleep that night. But some people, they'll take it morning, they'll take it in the evening as well. So they'll basically end cap their day if there's someone that's experiencing a lot of stress, whether it's temporary or ongoing. So however you want to use it, L-Theanine, pretty inexpensive, 100 milligrams to 200 milligrams for the most effective dosage. Don't really need to go above that. And we do recommend that once or twice a day. Again, we use Adrenal Soothe by Equilife. you can use whoever you feel works best. But the way that L-theanine also works is that it helps to work on the GABA receptors, lowering the go of dopamine, and has been shown to lead to a decreased heart rate if you're someone with an elevated heart rate or elevated blood pressure in response to stress-based tasks in life. Meetings, getting the kids out the door, getting yourself out the door, sitting in traffic, whatever it might be, right? Anything that's stress-based, this could potentially help with that. Now, again, I can't give you any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis. I know we mentioned the word blood pressure or accelerated heart rate, so I can't link up the nutritional supplements. But of course, you know exactly what we use, which is Adrenal Soothe, or you can look for just L-theanine. And as I said before, that lavender spray can be absolutely fantastic as well. Hopefully today's show is helpful. I'm going to put the book review, and I think I can link up the lavender oil spray at stephencabral.com/3178, but I will absolutely link up the research as well. Take care, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow answering our community's questions on the Cabral House Calls. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.